Welcome to the podcast. I'm your host, RJ Carbone. You are listening to BD4, where there's no better way to get your Yankees and Knicks analysis. We also do MMA. Yanks every series, Knicks every game, MMA on occasion. Let's get to it.
Anthony for three. That one goes down, and the game is tied.
I'd like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody.
The Yankees are champions of baseball.
Shaking and baking right here on the neophyte.
You guys trying to close the show.
She was doing a great job of feeding.
That is it.
It's over.
Coming up, so KP, don't you regret not coming to the Knicks? Don't you regret not coming to the Knicks?
Game over. World Series over. Yankees win. The Yankees win.
Someday soon, we will be saying that about a Yankees team again. A World Series win. Don't think that's going to be this year. Man. What's up, everybody? Episode 707 of the podcast. I'm your host, RJ Carbone. You are listening to BD4, where there's no better way to get your Yankees and Knicks analysis. We do Yanks every series, Knicks every game, MMA on occasion. We're talking New York Yankees. Of course we are. Because the Yanks just came off a feckless, an absolutely feckless series in Texas where they took the first game and they dropped the last two. So they dropped two more out of three. So they continue to just deflate anybody's hopes. They had this wide open opportunity this month. I keep saying that it's September. So since the beginning of last month, they had this wide open opportunity to really jump ahead in the standings, and they've regressed. They've now put themselves in second place because they dropped 2 out of 3 to the LA Angels. They only take they only take 2 against the Chicago White Sox. That's a team that's absolutely horrid, that any team needs to sweep that team. Any contender who plays the White Sox need to sweep that team. They drop 1 to them, 12-2. They lose 2 out of 3 to Detroit. Got to win that series. They lose 1 to Colorado, another team that you should probably sweep. They lose 2 out of 3 to Washington. Should take 2 there. They lose 2 out of 3 to St. Louis. Should also take 2 from them. And they lose 2 out of 3 to the Texas Rangers. So they have 3 straight series losses. I don't think they've swept a team since the end of July when they went on that little 5-game win streak. So ever since then, they've been right back to inconsistent. To be honest with you, it was just that little 5-game stretch. They won 5 in a row at the end of July. Then they lost 1, and I think they won 3 in a row after that. So they won 8 of 9 or something. It was a little bit of a stretch. Outside of that, they've been really bad for a really long time. In fact, the Yankees, in their first 70 games this year, the Yankees won 49-21. That's a 700 win percentage. Since then, in their last 70 games, they've gone 31-39. That's a 443 win percentage. That is a lot of games of being a below average team. That's a lot of games being below 500. That's the entire summer where the Yankees have gone through and they haven't been good. So when people criticize you and other Yankees fans for complaining about this team because of their overall record, right? You got to point out the context where a lot of that was just padded from earlier in the season. they're also not in first place anymore. So that's really like the record. We're looking at the standings here, and the Yankees are now in second place because they failed to take advantage of a huge opportunity. This was supposed to be a good year. It was supposed to be a great year. You know, I thought they'd bounce back and be headed for 100 wins, give or take. They're on pace for, I think, 93 wins, 91 wins, something around there. That's not even that good. They're lucky the rest of the American League is also not very good, but, you know, you're supposed to be the Yankees. You're supposed to be head and shoulders of everybody else when you got, you know, Mantle and Maris batting 2 and 3 for you. Baltimore lost to the White Sox yesterday, 8-1. So the Yankees got that's their motto this season. I saw a really funny Dan Rourke on Yankee Avenue posted the Yankee motto of 2024 as well. At least Baltimore lost. So true. But yeah, both teams, Yankees and Orioles, are off today. But as of today, as I'm recording, it is the night of September 5th, Thursday, September 5th. We are just flying by. And Baltimore's in first place. The Yankees are in second place by a half game. 0 games in the loss column. But it's been bad. They are at their lowest point, and, you know, they need the captain to start stepping up because the captain's been in a cold spell, both in the field and at the plate. So I'm looking at him to start turning it around because he's been bad for, you know, a couple series in a row now. 3 series in a row. He hasn't really given them much. And it's hard to criticize him, obviously, for a guy who's been so historic for you, but he's also the one who's being paid the most money for now. So it's got to start with him. He's got to start. Judge doesn't hit, the Yankees don't win. You know, that's how it is with every team. The best guys need to be there. So it's been a hell of a stretch for the Yankees. I can't even call 70 games a stretch. It's been just an egregious summer for the Yankees. It really has been an egregious summer. You know, for this is the team that's supposed to compete for a championship. So that's why the expectations are so high. That's why the standard's where it is. So if you think it's all the same old spoiled Yankees fans, no, it's you know, the team that spends $300 million on their team, right? It's a team that is known for winning. So you're going to be held to that standard. And hopefully at some point we can see Jason Dominguez, but for now he rots in AAA Scranton. And actually I saw a report on The Athletic. This was going around the last couple of days, and I'm going to read it word for word here. Again, this is from The Athletic. And it says, after some confusion, because, you know, the whole thing was about the rookie eligibility. But here in The Athletic, it says, after some confusion over whether Dominguez would be eligible for a prospect promotion incentive, PPI draft pick, if he were to win Rookie of the Year in 2025, it turns out he would not qualify because he has already amassed over 60 days of MLB service time. Dominguez earned 31 days of service in 2023 and started 2024 on the MLB injured list as he recovered from Tommy John surgery. The Yankees did not take Dominguez off the MLB injured list until June, which means he was earning service during that time. So they've already screwed that draft pick thing up, apparently. So that's not even it, which means the Yankees are actually that delusional, and they actually do believe there's no lane because of Alex freaking Verdugo. So that clears up the whole Jason Dominguez debacle. Other in-house stuff, you're going to have Luis Gil and Clark Schmidt make a return this weekend. Luis Gil will start tomorrow, Friday, against the Cubs. And then they're going to have Clark Schmidt start on Saturday. Cole is going to get the Sunday game, and then apparently Nestor Cortez, they're going to get a look at him out of the bullpen. He will piggyback for either Luis Seal or Clark Schmidt, meaning he's going to come in right after they pitch. And then it's expected that he's going to return to the rotation the next series after that in Boston or against Boston. I am very happy that Luis Seal and Clark Schmidt are returning. They are two key pieces to this rotation. There's been a lot of conversation on whether one of them will be moved to the bullpen. If there's going to be one of those two guys that we see come out of the pen for the Yankees in the postseason, I would rather it be Clark Schmidt, to be honest with you. I know with the whole Clay Holmes thing, and we'll talk about that, and just the overall lack of confidence in the bullpen, a lot of Yankees fans think that Luis Seal should be put into the closer role. I'm against that. I could see the intrigue. I mean, the guy's got electric stuff. The fastball, the slider has gotten better. The changeup's a good pitch. He's got closer stuff. He can get swing and miss. That's what you want. But don't forget, he also is a guy who loses command, and he's also a guy who has no control. Half the time he's out there, he has no idea where the ball is going. I don't trust that in the closer spot. I don't trust a guy who could easily just walk 4 guys in a row to bring home a run on any given night. As a starting pitcher, you can work your way out of that. As a closing pitcher, there's no breathing room. It's the game right there. And I don't know why people would want to remove Luis Seal from the rotation when he's been their most consistently dominant pitcher all season long. From the beginning of the season in April to when he went on to the DL with the fake injury, he's been their best pitcher. Why would you take that out? Your rotation is already questionable as it is right now. Why would you remove the best part of it? It doesn't really make much sense to me. Keep what was working there. Has he had some ups and downs? Of course he has. But overall, he's pitching a really good season. Look at the numbers. He's been one of their better pitchers. He's been their best pitcher, I will say. He's been their best starting pitcher. Why would I just remove that for the playoffs? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Don't fix that. I don't want that. I think Clark Schmidt should be a guy that they think about putting in the bullpen. You want swing and miss in your bullpen. Everything Clark Schmidt throws moves. He doesn't get a ton of strikeouts, but he's got good stuff to where I could see that stuff play up in the bullpen. He's a guy who has had success against right-handed batters in the past. So you can use him in that righty versus righty role. You can use him in a multiple inning role out of the bullpen. I think his stuff could play up there. That's not a bad idea as he comes back. Maybe he's not going to stretch out enough, so you come and use him out of the bullpen. That would be a good idea. But I would love for Luis Seal to stay in the rotation. I don't understand why people are jumping to get him out of there. He got his rest. Have him come back, stretch back out for October, and let him go nuts. Let it be Cole, Rodon, Heel. There's your playoff 3. If you need a 4th, I don't know. Stroman's got the experience. Schmidt, I would, again, I would try to stay away from putting Stroman or Cortez in the bullpen. We need stuff in there. We need guys with velocity and movement. So maybe Schmidt's the best guy to do that. So that's that with Heel and Schmidt. They're coming back this weekend versus the Cubs. Scott Effross just went back down, came up, sucked, then had a decent outing. Now he's back down because I think Hamilton is coming back. Ian Hamilton is returning very soon, same as John Birdie, which is good, but I don't want John Birdie to replace Dominguez. Hopefully they have a roster spot for Dominguez at some point, whenever the hell it is they're going to call him up, and he has to. You have to think they're not going to go the entire month without calling this kid up, right? Poteet's on his way back. He just got called up to Scranton from Somerset, so he's getting closer. I have a question because I haven't heard anything about this guy. I've listened to a ton of podcasts. Nobody has mentioned this guy's name. It's like he showed up in April, He looked really good. He threw 98. He had some good breaking pitches. He got results for a little bit, and he's disappeared since. I don't even know what the injury is. I forget. But where the hell is Nick Birdie? Nick Birdie was fun. I liked Nick Birdie. You know, I thought that was a good diamond in the rough, potentially. It was only 12 innings, but he looks good. I have no idea what happened to him. I don't remember, but like nobody's giving any updates on Nick Birdie. You're hearing everybody else's name, but I haven't heard a thing about Nick Birdie, which is really interesting to me. What else? I think that's it regarding the injuries. Little fun update. John Sterling. You know, a couple of weeks ago, it was reported that Sterling was thinking about coming out of retirement for the postseason this year. It was confirmed yesterday by, I think, Chris Kirshner, first here on the beat. He's doing a really good job. That Sterling's going to be returning to the booth for the postseason this year. So, quick little 3-game stint for him, and then he'll be back into retirement with the way things are going with the Yankees this year. So, that's nice, though. I'm really, in all seriousness, I'm very happy to see John come back in the booth. Can't say I'll be listening because I'll be watching these games on TV, and I'll be probably attending some of these games, depending on how far they go. But, you know, it's good. It's good to have his presence back in the Bronx. Let's get into this series where the Yankees dropped 2 out of 3 to the Texas Rangers in Texas. Again, the Yanks, Feckless in Texas is the name of this episode. So let's dive in as soon as we return from break here to start off this episode. We'll be back in about 1 minute.
Hey there, thanks for listening in so far. If you enjoy this episode, please give us a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts. And if you're on YouTube, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks so much. You can follow us on social media as well. On Instagram, we're at BD4Pod and at Rob J. Carbone. On X, we're at BD4Pod and at RJCBD4. And on Facebook, we're BD4. If you're interested in our website, just go to www.bd4blog.com. You can subscribe to our blog on there right on the front page. Just like on the podcast, we cover Yankees, Knicks, and MMA. Also on our website are the links to the different platforms for the podcast. Thanks so much.
All right, welcome back to the show. Episode 707 of the podcast. Thank you for tuning in to BD4. I'm your host, RJ Carbone. So the Yankees dropped 2 out of 3 to the Texas Rangers in Arlington, Texas. It's so disgusting, but let's dive into this. The first game of the series, they lost 8-4. You had Garrett Cole, the right-hander, on the mound against the young righty, the veteran versus the young righty, Jack Leiter. This was cool to see, you know, obviously Leiter versus Volpe. The Yankees have Leiter's cousin in their bullpen. Didn't pitch in this game, though, but the Yankees got him a little bit. They got to him a little bit. 8 runs overall, 12 hits. 8 runs, 12 hits, 4 extra base hits, a walk, 7 strikeouts, 1 double play grounded into, and they were 4 for 11 with runners in scoring position. Against Jack Leiter specifically, they scored 5 runs on him when the night was over in 5 innings. Or I think he won 5 plus. Top 3, you know, you had Volpe pick up a base hit off him, and then Verdugo also with a back-to-back single, 1 out, and then Gleyber Torres, the RBI single off of, or the RBI double off of a hanging slider to plate Volpe. And that made the Yankees, well, that put the Yankees up 1-0. No runs until Leiter went back out there in the top of the 6th, and the Yankees got a few more. You had, with them, at the time they entered the inning, it was up, the Yankees were up 2-1. And then Torres and Soto go back-to-back base hits to start off the inning. You have the mound visit, and then Judge takes the plate, and he rips an RBI double on a 4-seam fastball low and in. and that makes it 3-1 Yankees. Lighter is pulled for Anderson right there, and he hits Wells with a pitch. I think Wells is okay. He missed the rest of the series. Hopefully today's day off, helped with that soreness. But he gets hit by a pitch. Then Jazz picks up a 1-out base hit to score a run that was on a 94-mile-an-hour four-seam right in the middle of the plate. It's 4-1 Yankees. Rizzo picks up an opposite field bloop, a 2-run double to make it 6-1. And then Jazz scores on the wild pitch to make it 7-1 Yankees. So they got 3 runs in 4 innings on Anderson. He went back out there for the 6th, 7th, and 8th. And 9th, but they got to him in the 8th again when they were up 7-3. Stanton leads off the inning with a solo home run, a 418-foot home run to center field at 112 miles an hour off the bat. So rocket shot by Stanton to make it 8-3 Yanks. And there was your offense. Torres goes 3 for 5, a double, 2 RBIs. He made a great play to end the game. Soto goes 2 for 4 with a walk. Judge goes 1 for 5, a double, an RBI. Stanton goes 1 for 4 with a home run and an RBI. With that home run, it made it 10 seasons for Stanton with 25-plus home runs. He's the only active player with such feats. Jazz goes 2 for 4 with an RBI and a couple stolen bases. And then Anthony Rizzo, 1 for 4, 2 RBIs and a double. On the mound for the Yankees this game, Garrett Cole, he went 6 innings, 1 run, 4 hits, 1 walk, 9 strikeouts, no home runs allowed, threw 82 pitches and got the win. He only threw 82 because he left the game in warm-ups. When he went back out there for the top of the 7th, or the bottom of the 7th, he left the game before the inning because of a right calf cramp. So it seems like he's okay. The worst case scenario would have been an elbow issue. That was the first thing that came to my mind. Why the hell is he leaving the game? Was it his elbow? Turns out it most likely is just going to be a quick calf cramp, and he's supposed to be back out there on Sunday. So, but he looked very good, man. He looked very sharp for 6 innings. This was probably his best outing yet. I thought the stuff looked very crisp. He looked like Garrett Cole, like vintage 2023 Garrett Cole. The command and control was great. He only had 1 walk to 9 strikeouts. That's Garrett Cole. He was getting a ton of swing and miss on his pitches. Of the 82 pitches, he really, really attacked with his fastball. He won 41 four-seamer. The velocity is still a tick below the Garrett Cole that we were used to. Not sure if that's going to come back, but he's still around 96. And he picked up 8 of his 9 strikeouts with the four-seam fastball. Texas hitters were just 1 for 12 on the four-seamer. That's an 0.83 batting average. He was just attacking their lefties with it, and it looked like a really good pitch all night. He threw 14 cutter, 13 curve, 9 slider, and 1 changeup. He worked out of a jam in the bottom of the 1st inning. Bottom of the 3rd was the only inning where he allowed a run in. But other than that, very effective and very good work by Garrett Cole. I want to see him stretch out, though. That's the last thing I want to see is just the Yankees let him loose, because we're getting closer and closer to October, and we're still kind of hovering around that 90 pitch mark, right? Obviously, 82, he was hurt, but I want to see 105, give or take, pitches from Cole. I want to see him, if he's got to go 110, go 110. I want to see him stretch out. So hopefully in these final, I don't know what he's got, 5-6 starts tops left in the regular season, we can see that start to come, because that's just the last piece of the puzzle here. It's the last piece of the puzzle. I don't know if they're being just precautious. Is there something deeper we need to worry about? Is the elbow okay? If it is, then let him go. I just hope that we stretch him out enough. That's just, I want to see them for 1 game. Just, okay, go be you. Maybe that comes later this month. We'll see. Regardless, this was a great bounce back. After that bad start that he had last time out, where he gave up 2 home runs in 5 innings, 3 runs. It was good to see him go from getting shelled like that to missing every bat, basically. So he's been good. He's been back for a while, right? He's been really hot for this Yankees team. He's rounded into form, and it looks like Garrett Cole is going to be okay. So good for Cole. 6 strong innings, 1 run ball, 9 strikeouts. The bullpen goes 3 innings after him. Weaver gets the 7th. He allows the 2-run home run to Langford on a 4-seamer up in the zone. That makes it 7-3 Yankees. Tim Hill gets the 8th and 9th. He finishes with an inning and a third, 1 run on 2 hits. And then Clay Holmes gets the 9th in this game. He lets up a double and then the RBI ground out, which was Tim Hill's inherited run. That makes it 8-4 Yankees. But that was the final. 8-4. The Yankees win game 2. Not game 2, game 1. Yeah. Game 2, they lose on Tuesday, 7-4. Let me see if I can real quick. Here we go. 7-4 in game 2. This was the lefty Carlos Rodon going up against the lefty Andrew Heaney. The Yankees got 4 runs in this game on 10 hits, 9 singles, 3 walks, 13 strikeouts, a double play hit into, and they went 3 for 9 with runners in scoring position. Against Andrew Heaney, they didn't do squat. They scored 0 runs on Heaney as he went 5 innings. And it's not ironic, it's not a coincidence that Andrew Heaney is a lefty. The Yankees continue to struggle against left-handed pitching. It's very concerning to me. You would think a lineup that's as balanced as this lineup is, lefty-righty switch, that they'd be able to hit lefties more often. Soto is a lefty masher. Judge hits lefties. Like, it's just, you can pick it apart individually. Wells does struggle against lefties, but he didn't play in this game. Stanton usually mashes lefties. He hasn't been doing that this year. You got to go down the rest of the order, but, Verdugo has struggled. Torres, I'm sure, doesn't have good numbers versus lefties this year. I don't know, man. The Yankees they're not picking up the ball well against left-handed pitching, and that's getting to be a bigger and bigger concern as the playoffs approach. It doesn't even have to be a good pitcher. It can be Andrew Heaney. It can be anybody. It's a concern. You could just throw a guy that has a left arm. As long as your pitcher has a left arm, he's good to go if he faces this lineup. It is so bizarre to me how consistently they struggle against left-handed pitching. It's a problem. Figure it out. They waste a Gleyber Torres 2-out double in the 3rd. In the 4th inning, they had the most unserious collection of at-bats against Heaney, where they had 3 strikeouts. They had struck out 3 times on 10 pitches, 9 strikes. Judge, Stanton, Jazz. 1, 2, 3, just like that. 3 strikeouts on 10 pitches, 9 strikes. So very close to an immaculate inning. Just such an unserious collection of at-bats. They get to the Texas bullpen. They go 4 runs in 4 innings against the Texas pen. Top 7 with the Yanks down 1-0. Jazz Chisholm and Anthony Volpe with back-to-back base hits to start the inning. You get the balk from Leclerc, and now it's 2nd and 3rd, nobody out. And then Trevino with an RBI 6-3 ground out. That brings Chafin into the game. It's a 1-1 game. He comes in. Volpe picks up the RBI base hit with the infield in. It's Verdugo, picks up the RBI base hit with the infield in. It's a 2-1 game. LeMahieu grounds out after that to end the inning. Double play, because of course he does. Top of the 8th, though, the Yankees have some clutch hitting in their bones in this inning. They had the base hit by Torres to lead off the frame. Or no, it was a leadoff walk by Torres. Soto hits into a force out to bring Anderson into the game. Chafin comes out. Judge picks up a single on Anderson. Jazz picks up a 2-out base hit to load the bases. And then Volpe with a 2-run single off of an 8-pitch at-bat to make it 4-1 Yankees. Top 9, Torres, a 2-out base hit. Garabito's pulled. Pennington comes in. He walks Soto. Judge flies out, though, to right field to end the frame. Bats looked good, Torres 2 for 4, double walk. Jazz 2 for 4, Volpe 2 for 4, 2 RBIs, a stolen base. Trevino 1 for 4, an RBI. Verdugo 1 for 4, an RBI. LeMahieu 1 for 3, hit into a double play, like we said. The bats looked great. Rodon won 6 strong innings. We'll talk about him in a second. But the bullpen, it goes 2 1/3 innings. Bottom of the 7th, Tommy Kahnle pitches a clean inning. Bottom of the 8th, very poor job by the Yankee pen. Very poor job by the Yankee defense. You had Boone trying to steal one more out with Kahnle here. Didn't work. He gets a ground ball to LeMahieu. He loses the ball in the lights. Kahnle's pulled after that. Cousins comes in, lets up a base hit to Simeon because the ball went right under Torres' glove. Should have been an error. But Torres, an inexplicable error, lets the ball travel right under his glove. So Simeon picks up a base hit. Young comes to the plate, and he picks up a 1-out RBI single to make it 4-2. Cousins walks Garcia. So now you got runners on the corners with 1 out. Cousins is pulled. Tim Hill comes in. He lets up a deep fly ball to Judge. So Lowe gets the sac fly RBI there. It's 4-3 now, Yankees. And then Tim Hill gets Heim to strike out on a foul tip with that sinker. That was it for Hill. Bottom 9 comes, and this was the Clay Holmes thing, right? This was the Clay Holmes game. Clay Holmes comes in, blows the save, gets the loss. He loads the bases with 1 out, single, stolen base, walk, all in a row, all in a friggin' row. And then Langford comes to the plate. Clay Holmes eventually hangs a slider to him, and you get the walk-off grand slam to left field. 7-4 Texas. See you later. So, Holmes goes a third of an inning, lets up 4 runs on 2 hits, 2 walks, a home run. The first 4 pitches of that final at-bat were all balls, to be honest with you. He was gifted 2 strikes, so you almost wanted those 2 pitches to be balls, so that grand slam didn't happen. But, yeah, at what point does this clown manager get the blame for keep going to him? At what point, let's try that again. At what point does this clown manager get the blame for continuing to go to him? It's been ugly. It's been very, very ugly. Going backwards here, Hill goes 2/3 of an inning, no runs, a strikeout. I am still perplexed on how this guy gets outs. I have no idea how he does it. I guess it's the submarine style of pitching. He throws that 88-mile-an-hour sinker from the left side. Like, it is, I don't know. He has no velocity. Cousins went before him, a third of an inning, 1 run, 2 hits, a walk. He's been struggling lately. He struggled in this game with his command. And then Kahnle goes 1+ inning, 1 run. He's also been struggling a little bit in his last couple outings. On the mound in this game, on a positive note, was Carlos Rodon. And so we are going to tip our caps to Carlos Rodon. Let me get this out of the way real quick. Carlos Rodon was excellent. 6 innings, 1 run, 11 strikeouts, 1 hit, 2 walks, a hit batter, 1 home run, 99 pitches, and unfortunately gets the no decision. But he was brilliant. He was brilliant in this game. He just made the one mistake. And it wasn't even that bad of a pitch. It was just low velocity. He throws a 94-mile-an-hour 4-seam in on the hands, but Young got his hands in on it, barreled it, and picked up the leadoff home run in the 4th inning. Made it 1-0 Texas. But that was it. He was brilliant other than that. So unfortunately, he gets the loss. But Carlos Rodon, he couldn't have been better. You feel for him. His pitch mix in this game, 49 4-seam fastballs, 29 sliders, 15 change, and 6 curve. The slider was his best pitch in this game. He got a ton of whiff on it, going backdoor a lot with the slider to righties. So that was his 4-pitch mix. He's kind of abandoned the cutter. He started the season throwing that cut fastball a little more, but I don't think he's very comfortable with it. That's been a Blake pitch. He's got a lot of Yankee stars to throw it. We've talked about how I don't like the cutter with Cole. Obviously the cutter is a good pitch with Cortez when he's locating. But Rodon has kind of just went away from it the last couple months. He has not thrown the cutter since June 27th. That was a start against I don't remember who, but June 27th was a long time ago, folks. But yeah, that 4-seam slider is always going to be his bread and butter, but it's good to see him mixing in tertiary, the changeup, the curve, working into lefties, obviously throwing that changeup to right-handers going away. So he's been looking good. Good for Rodon. He's been so inconsistent this year. You don't know which Rodon you're going to get, but when you get the good Rodon, you get the really good Rodon. So that's now 10 cap tips on the season for Carlos Rodon. Good for him. And that was from Game 2. Game 3, yesterday, the Yankees lost this game 10 to, I'm going to put quotes around 6, 10 to 6, because it was really 10 to 2 before those fake runs in the 9th inning. The righty veteran Marcus Stroman against the righty veteran Nathan Eovaldi. Stroman goes 3 2/3 innings, 5 runs, 9 hits, a walk, 10 base runners, 3 strikeouts, no home runs, 88 pitches, and he gets the loss. Yeah, never really gave the Yankees a chance. He's had an okay season. He's been on a little bit of a run lately, but it ended here. Never really gave them a chance. Going 3 2/3 is just unacceptable. I don't care if you're a number 1 pitcher. I don't care if you're a number 3. I don't care if you're a number 5. I don't care how much money you're getting paid. Going 3 2/3 innings, no matter what era, is always unacceptable. Bottom of the first, Langford and Lowe pick up back-to-back base hits off of a hanging slider, hanging cutter. So you got first and third, 1 out. Garcia picks up the RBI force out to make it 1-0 Texas. Bottom 2, Tavares and Duran with doubles to start the inning, makes it 2-0. Bottom 4, Duran and Jankowski with back-to-back base hits. Jankowski steals second, so now you got second and third, 1 out. Smith picks up an RBI to make it 3-0. Langford picks up an RBI double off a hanging slider to make it 4-0. And then Lowe with the RBI base hit off of a sinker middle in to make it 5-0. Stroman was pulled after that with 2 outs in the 4th. So it was very ugly for him. What else can you say? He's got to bounce back in his next start. The bullpen goes 4 1/3. They officially put the game to bed. Let's just put it that way. The game was over the second they came in. Effross was good. Pitched a clean inning and a third. No runs, no hits, a walk. Meza, though, gave up 3 runs in a third of an inning, 2 hits, a walk. Leiter comes in, pitches 2/3 of an inning, gives up a hit, 2 inherited runs, score. Those were Meza's runs. Marinaccio gets an inning, lets up 2 runs himself off 2 hits and a walk. And then Bickford, when the game was already over, pitches a clean inning. So just disgraceful from the bullpen. The bats, again, they finish with 6 runs on 8 hits, 3 extra base hits, 6 walks, 7 strikeouts, no double plays, 2 for 6 in scoring position. But against Eovaldi, they were trash. He goes 2 runs, 7 innings. 30 fucking years later, they can't hit this guy. It feels like this guy's been in the league forever, and every time he pitches against this Yankees team, he's shutting them down. It's bad. Top of the 5th, the Yanks are down 5-0. You get the Torres 2-out walk on an 8-pitch at-bat, and then Soto with a 2-run home run. He gets a cutter up and out of the zone and gets the barrel on it and picks up an opposite field wall scraper. So it's 5-2 Texas. But that was it. Off Eovaldi. The Yankees once again were able to get to the Texas bullpen, but that was only because of the fake home run by Grisham. The Yankees are down 10-2 in the top of the 9th. Texas bullpen just collapses. You have the Cabrera, Trevino, Torres, back-to-back 2-out walks. Festus pulled. Anderson comes in, and he grooves a fastball up and in to Grisham, where he slaps it for a grand slam on the 8th pitch of the at-bat, and it makes it 10-6. I didn't even see the at-bat live. I had the game turned off at this moment because I was just so disgusted. So Soto finishes 3 for 3 with a walk, double, home run, 2 RBIs. Good to see him picking it up. Torres been on a nice little run for himself. 1 for 3, a couple of walks, and actually, I'm going to tip my cap to Gleyber Torres. Gleyber Torres in this series goes 6 for 12. That's a 500 average, a 1267 OPS, 2 doubles, 2 RBIs, 3 walks, only 1 strikeout, 3 runs scored, 8 total bases in these 3 games. And on the season, the numbers are creeping closer and closer to league average. It's got a 246 batting average, a 324 on base, just a 364 slug. But the OPS getting closer to 700 at 688. You know, he's really been on a good run since the beginning of August. Since August 1st, across 29 games, he's got a 298 average with a 384 on base. He's not slugging much, even during this stretch. His power, not there. That's the thing with Torres, man. He has had years where he's given the Yankees plenty of power, and he's had years where he's just not been able to slug. But he's been getting on base, and that's exactly what you want at the leadoff spot. It's been a spot where he's been very productive over the last half month or so. Actually, I think he's been the leadoff. I think he was leadoff on August 1st, if I'm not incorrect. I'm pretty sure he's been leadoff for a little bit now, which is why they need to keep him there. Right at this point, you are this late into the season. You're in the beginning of September now, and you know, I don't think the Yankees want to experiment with everybody else. I was hoping that they would at some point in the summer try out Soto, Judge 1-2. I feel like that's a really good spark to start off a game, terrify pitchers like that. And, you know, it works. You know, you get on base, you get them a ton of at-bats. But I think what they're doing here with Gleyber is, you know, they've stopped platooning it, and they've just said, hey, let's just have Gleyber Torres lead off, no matter righty, lefty, and just let him get into a consistent rhythm this way, and it's worked. Obviously, the defense, second base defense, is still a bit of a joke. He did make the nice game-saving play on Monday, but, you know, if he's hitting, he's going to be a big X factor in the postseason, where he's had some good postseasons for the Yankees, but right now they need him to keep this up, you know, for this pennant race that they're in. So good for Gleyber Torres. That is his 3rd cap tip of the season. So there's your positive. Let's get back into some negative, shall we? Let me just take a sip. I keep fucking hitting my elbow on this damn shelf. Let's take a sip here. All right. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. Clay Holmes. Clay Holmes is a nightmare. So on the season, Clay Holmes, 2-5 record, 3.27 ERA, 1.33 WHIP, 29 out of 40 in saves, so 11 blown saves, and he's averaging about 18 pitches per inning. The first 20 games for Clay Holmes this season, he was 1-0 across 20 innings where he had not allowed an earned run. He had a 0.95 whip, and he was 13 for 14 in saves. That was his first 20 games. In his last 37 games since, he's gone 1-5 with a 5.14 ERA, a 1.54 whip, and he's 16 for 26 in saves. He is getting demolished. His sinker is getting crushed. His batting average allowed on the sinker is 336. The slugging percentage he's allowing on a sinker is 451. 8 doubles and 2 home runs. He's been abysmal. And this bullpen has been abysmal. And of course, that bald weasel Cashman is most to blame. Obviously, right? He was jerking around at the deadline, and he tried to get cute, and he added Mark Leiter and someone De Los Santos. De Los Santos has been cut. He's been so bad he didn't make it a month. And Leiter, I don't even know if I can recall one scoreless outing from Leiter. He's either giving up an earned run or allowing an inherited runner to score. Every single time. I'm not exaggerating. I don't remember a single outing where Mark Leiter came in and the score was the same when Mark Leiter came out. I don't remember. He's been abysmal. And so now the bullpen ERA drops to 12 on the season. So it keeps getting lower and lower and lower and lower for those of you who want to mention where they rank in ERA. And in their last 4 games, in September, their relief ERA, 12.89. 21 earned runs allowed in their last 14 2/3 innings pitched. It's a very, it's a Diet Coke. It's a very bad bullpen. And it's all on Cashman. It's Cashman. Cashman chose not to do anything in the winter. You could have signed Josh Hader. There were a couple other arms you could have went after. You let Wandy Peralta walk. The deadline comes. You let Tanner Scott go elsewhere. You let Michael Kopech go elsewhere. You let Jason Adam go elsewhere. All these guys. The pitching on this team is a joke. And it's because of Brian Cashman. You can even talk about the rotation. You could have went and got Flaherty. Didn't want to do that because you were afraid of the medicals. You could have went and got Snell. You never did that. You wanted to hold on to your prospects because you didn't trust them for Dylan Cease. You avoided Dylan Cease. He's been really good this year. You avoided Corbin Burns because you didn't match up. Oh my God. All these guys, one after another, and they give you these excuses as to why they didn't want. Shut up and do your job. I don't want to hear shit. Stop talking. Stop talking and do your job. He wants to hold on to Spencer Jones, though we won't even probably see Spencer Jones until 2035 because of some other garbage bullshit reason they'll create. So it's on Cashman. But don't sit here and tell me that Boone's innocent too. Boone doesn't have to keep going to him. In fact, we'll get to that in a second. But the way that he sits there in these post games, night after night, blown save after blown save, Boone just sits there and he just spits word salad. He sounds like a friggin' politician. Just shoot it straight for one time. Just say what's on your actual mind for one time. Tell us what you're actually thinking. And you don't have to do it in a way where you throw your guy under the bus. You don't have to go to that extreme. But he just doesn't. He sounds like a politician. That's the only way I can put it. I don't know what it is. I don't know why it's taken this long for them to reconsider that closer role. Was he afraid of the conversation? A little tough conversation to have? You're afraid of feelings, right? This is the same manager who had to pinch hit with LeMahieu. Well, they had a pinch hit LeMahieu with Rizzo, and they had a pinch run Torres with Ellis in game 2. Instead of straight up making those defensive replacements straight up, they did it, the inning prior, just to because he didn't want to hurt their feelings. That's the length they go to because they think it's such a bad thing. It's so crazy how PC they are. I don't know if it's you're hearing this on Twitter. Is it like Judge? Is it a Judge thing? Judge wants to keep his friends around. He wants to keep them happy. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I think a real reason is, the nerds, right? I think that's why they've stuck with him for so long. I think that's why they backed him for so long. Is because of stuff, because of Baseball Savant, right? And I was listening to a podcast, NYYU. It's, one of my buddies works for them. And I was listening to one of their episodes, and they made a really good point on, like, the Yankees consistently use the term soft contact for Holmes as to, like, it's just bad luck, right? But it bothers us because in today's game, Soft contact is now considered bad luck, right? If you hit a ball and you get a base hit off it, and if the exit velo is not high, if the expected batting average is not high, the hard hit rate, barrel percentage, whatever it is, if it's not high, it's a soft contact. It's just bad luck. It's not the pitcher's fault. When for hundreds and hundreds of years before these nerds took over, getting a soft base hit the other way or just picking up an infield single, that was, that found a hole, that was considered a good piece of hitting. Right? This was something I heard on a podcast on NYYU. So I thought that was a really good point, right? You didn't get all the pitch. You didn't get your A swing off, but you got your hands in just enough to get the bat on it, right? Derek friggin' Jeter made his career off of base hits that found holes. You think Jeter was hitting 150-mile-an-hour rockets? No. He got his hands in, and he took that inside pitch to right field. Soft contact used to be a good thing. You used to not want to give that up. But what the little nerd boys in the front office don't account for, unless you're Rivera or, this year Emmanuel Clase, any contact is bad contact in the ninth inning right now. We are at a point where Holmes has been getting beat the same exact way over and over and over again, soft contact, to where now it's probably time to change that. It's not luck if it continues to happen over and over. You can change that. Get more swing and miss in there, especially with the Yankee infield defense being as bad as it is, especially with their defensive alignment being as questionable as it is, right? They're shifting pull side on lefties for Clay Holmes, who throws a two-seamer that goes away. Doesn't make sense. You can't pull that pitch. Get more command from a closing pitcher in that spot. Get him out of there. He has no command. He throws. He doesn't pitch. Excuse me. It's bad. And Boone and the Yankees, they just put themselves in this hole simply by being hell-bent on Holmes as closer. They continue to sit there and they tell you he's our guy. There was a point he was the best. He's the best closer in baseball. Like they're so afraid of saying anything but something that's 100% suck up. Oh, it's so bad. It's so bad. So hopefully, it's Cousins or it's Weaver. Like, there's options. You can go Cousins against a righty, right? That two-seam slider combo that he likes going to, that's perfect against a right-handed batter. Give Weaver lefties. Closer by committee. Cousins gets a righty. Weaver gets the left-handed batters with that changeup that goes away. Canely, I don't know. Same thing. He throws that changeup. It's try something new. It's time to adopt and be flexible. Being flexible is the most important part of managing. You have to be able to change it up. When the script doesn't go as planned, let's go. The next one. What can we adopt to? Every other team does it. Bednar was demoted by Pittsburgh when he couldn't execute. MacArthur was demoted by the Royals. Craig Kimbrell, who is a tremendous closer in his career. He's developed a resume that's going to get him into the Hall of Fame. Demoted by the Orioles when he couldn't get the job done. Everybody else does it. It's Clay Holmes. Clay Holmes isn't Craig Kimbrell. He's not some closer with a superstar pedigree. He's not some guy on a Hall of Fame track. He's not on this albatross contract. He's Clay Holmes. He's gone after this season. You don't owe him anything. So why does he get this long leash? Right? And it's the same thing with these other guys. Verdugo. Why is he getting a long leash? Another rental. Can't get a look at your number one prospect that you hung on to for years? Verdugo's a rental. He's been unproductive. He's unmotivated out there. He's not even trying to run out of the box. But no, he gets this long leash too. LeMahieu, he gets this super long leash. But you can't give Cabrera any reps. You've been struggling all year to get offense from third base, second base, shortstop. Before Jazz Chisholm comes along, you didn't have a third base. Like, You couldn't find more than 10 at-bats for Peraza? Like, there's no flexibility. They're just not flexible. They're resistant to change. So that's why we're sitting here on September 5th. And we finally, when we are 85, 90% through the season, whatever it is, finally getting a comment from Boone that seems like they're going to shake it up at closer. It seems like the Yankees are finally going to go closer by committee. But, like, even the way Boone put it, maddening. Because it was the most snowflake, let's dance around it and not say it straight up wording. Like, he just doesn't shoot it straight. The Yankees think they have to word these things so carefully because they're so terrified. They're so terrified to hurt feelings. It's crazy. It's crazy the way they think they have to talk. It's just this. I hate it, man. I hate this. I can't stand this unserious mentality. It's just an unserious mentality. You know? Even last night, you get Boone making the most asinine comment regarding Verdugo not running hard out of the box. You know, there was that play where he was freaking walking to first base. They asked Boone about it post-game, and word for word, Boone goes, he's beat up. He's playing his ass off. He picks his spots. You see him beat it out when he needs to. He beats out the force play the other night to beat up the double play. Sometimes I wish it looked better on certain ones, but when he hits the one hopper to the second baseman and he's got it, I get the look. I don't have any issue with how hard he's playing the game. And we wonder why this keeps happening. We wonder why all these mistakes keep happening, right? Judge with a couple bad plays in center field this series. Soto, no urgency on a throw to allow a double. Soto not running hard out of the box to limit himself from a single to a double. That was last series. You got guys throwing to the wrong bases. It's so bad. Torres lets a ball go under his fucking glove in the late innings of a game. Verdugo walking to first base. Volpe the same thing, half-assing it on the base paths. LeMahieu with another blunder on Tuesday at first. Then Boone acts like we can't even question it. Yeah, he lost it under the lights. Duh. Like, what are we doing, man? Just shoot it straight. All of this is happening in September. In the final 20-something days of a pennant race, this continues to happen. Following a piss-poor July. Following a piss-poor August. It doesn't matter because there's zero accountability. There is zero edge because they all follow their leader. The way they act, the way they talk. If you are new to baseball, you'd think when you listen to the Yankees speak that they have multiple championships under this regime. Right? They tell you it's just one thing. It's just this. This is the reason that it didn't go our way. But they won't admit it's just you're playing bad baseball. They're delusional. You know, you got Cashman making these comments. Remember a couple years ago, the league has caught up to us. You were never above the league. This mentality is why they always fizzle out. They get off to these ridiculous starts and they always fizzle out. 2 years ago, they were on pace for 120 wins. Remember that? They finished the year 41-40. Last year, before the Judge injury, they go into that Dodgers series. They win 2 out of 3. They had a solid record, right? They were 600 ball or something like that. They were playing really good ball. They finally had it going. They finished the rest of the way 37-44. This year, they're below 500 in their last 81 games. That's why they're easy to hate. This is exactly why they're easy to hate. They just, it's all contagious. Aaron Boone is an infection, and that's not going to change. Going to head to our final break, and I think we're wrapping it up after that. Stay with us. Be right back. Studio 69 Productions is a podcast production agency created by Leo Rodriguez to allow content creators to market their podcast. It's an online platform that will market your podcast or any other project that you're working on. Get in touch with Leo Rodriguez from Studio 69 Productions. You can find Studio 69 Productions on Instagram at Studio69NJ. Studio 69 Productions, where dreams are heard and born.
Thanks for listening to BD4, where there is no better way to get your Yankees and Knicks analysis. We also do MMA, Yanks every series, Knicks every game, and MMA on occasion.
Welcome back to the show, episode 707 of the podcast. Lost my voice because I was just screaming over this organization for 20 minutes there. Yeah, the Yanks Feckless in Texas dropped 2 out of 3 to the Rangers. Next up, they've got the Chicago Cubs. They are, yes, the Cubs are a bad team. Who cares? Throw that out because you're playing the Yankees. The Cubs just threw 9 no-hit innings yesterday against the Pirates. It wasn't a no-hitter. No-hitter. I don't consider that a no-hitter. Because Amanga won 7, and then the bullpen won 3. But it was still impressive. And it was against Domingo Germán, ironically enough, who threw a perfecto last year. But yeah, the Cubs coming into town, the Yankees go to Chicago. They're going to Wrigley. That's pretty cool. And I think it's tomorrow night. You have Luis Seal against Wicks. You have Schmidt after that against Assad on Saturday. And then Sunday, again, you have Cole versus former Yankee Jameson Taillon. So that's that. And while the Yankees are playing the Chicago Cubs, the Baltimore Orioles will be staying in the division and facing the Tampa Bay Rays. That series starts tomorrow as well in Baltimore. So it's that time of year. It's standings watching that's begun. It's September, and the whole rest of the way we are going to be looking at the standings. So hopefully the Yankees can finally start stringing together some wins, and can we sweep a team? I don't know if that's coming because I think this is who they are. We'll find out. But I appreciate you all tuning in. So with that said, let's officially wrap this episode up with our trivia question, and that will be that. Let's get to it. You know what? Did we tip our cap to a relief pitcher? I don't think we did that yet. Let me do that real quick right now. It's going to go to... Oh, I know who it's going to, but I'm just going to pull it up here. Yeah, we didn't do that. So let's do that really briefly right now. Scott Effross. He's now back in Scranton, but he pitched in Game 3 this series. He went an inning and a third, no runs allowed, struck out 2, walked 1, needed 23 pitches, got the no decision. And so, yeah, he came up for a couple of games, looked bad in one, looked good in the other, and now he's back down with the Scranton Rail Riders because Ian Hamilton is on his way back. So Scott Effross gets his first and probably only cap tip of 2024. So there you go. Let's get back to our trivia. Okay, now we're here. At episode 707, our trivia question of the day. True or false? Mark Teixeira's career high for home runs in a single season came with the New York Yankees. Mark Teixeira's career high for home runs in a single season came with the New York Yankees. Is that true or false? Let me know the answer wherever you can reach me. Folks, that's it. I'm going to go put this episode up and then go to bed because I'm tired and I have one more day of work tomorrow before the weekend begins. So hope you all enjoyed this episode. Hopefully the Yankees can pick up a sweep. That's a good joke. And I'll see you after that series. Yanks Cubs starts this weekend. We'll see what happens. Thanks, everybody. This episode was brought to you by Anchor.
Hey there! If you stayed the entire way through, we thank you immensely for it. We hope you enjoyed this podcast and that you come back for the next episode real soon. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, download these episodes, and share them with your friends as well. BD4 is a 5-star podcast simply because of you. And we'd like to keep it that way. Have a wonderful day. Go Yankees and go Knicks.